Yes, and welcome to Vasily's Garden, folks. We're doing another garden bed. So we've done a couple already. We're going to work our way through the entire veggie garden here, and we're going to fill up all the beds while the dogs keep running amok in the background because they see the camera rolling and they think it's their cue to play up. Well, anyway, we're here in this rectangular bed. We're going to work on this one in a couple of stages today. We're going to work on the one I'm standing in front of, that's in front of me, that is. And I'll give you the background on this. We had some big malakas growing in here, and I left a couple of plants there just to rot, or tomatoes that is, just to rot out. And if they germinate, well, lucky me, I'll plant them across and I'll say these are little volunteers, which hopefully perform even better next season for me. Not that they didn't do well this year, done very well actually, average about 900 grams. Now this bed here, it's only 400 high and it's sunken as well. You can see that already. It's dropped about 150 mil. We had in here for the first 9 months untouched the shavings, the pine shavings from the chook house with the chicken manure at the bottom. That was it. That's all we had. Then we came along and we said, okay, a few months later, we're going to plant this out. So all I did was add my black grit superfood and cocoa pith, nothing else, no mulch or straw on top. And I haven't been watering this at all. And I did soak it a little bit earlier, as the usual watering as one would do. You know, about 10-20 litres of water, which isn't a lot for this 1 and a bit square metres. And let's see if it's gotten in there underneath. Look at that. Look how dry that is, okay? Now those white roots that you see there are the remnants of the tomato plants. We had some cucumbers growing in here. We even had some carrots. But look at the dryness. Look how dry this is underneath. Bone dry. And that's just the cocoa on top. And down below, yep, that's the manure as well. So that is really dry, folks. Super, super dry. Now, it's been about a month since I watered this garden bed here. It's rained a few times in between, and that's it. Now, I've got some celeriac growing in there, and they're my little indicators if they needed the water. Well, they really haven't wilted, so they're quite a tuberous sort of bulb at the bottom of them, so they hold a lot of water, they store a lot of water. So that's not the best indicator as a plant to use for watering if it needs it or not. But this here is dry. Now, if you're going to walk along, you know, once a week and give your garden bed of water, and you haven't got the mulch on top, this is probably what to expect. You'll notice it dry underneath. You're giving it superficial watering amounts, which is just barely keeping the plant alive. Now, things like cabbage, lettuce, even your broccolis, they need a lot of water to kick them on. If you don't give them the water, they never actually form a full head on them, especially the cabbage. And the lettuce, well, it's 90% water, so the leaves won't develop, and obviously they need the nutrients. So water is critical. It doesn't matter how good your garden bed is as far as the texture is, the life in the soil that you've prepared and added into it. If you don't add the water, there's no life. Plants can't grow. They're not succulents, they're not cacti in the middle of the Sahara Desert or whatever, that they can survive on very minimal amounts of water or moisture. Plants in here, even the leafy greens in wintertime, need A, the mulch on top, and it needs to be well hydrated, and B, make sure you're getting the water down deep below. Irrigation is a vital part to this whole thing. The integrity of a garden, long term, is irrigation. Yes, my mate there holding the camera there knows very well that I should have installed irrigation a long time ago. And I'm going to get to it eventually. So this will have an irrigation system, and you can take a little overlay of one garden bed that we did, only the one out of the 100 here, that's got the perfect lineup of irrigation, and you'll see how we're going to do it as we move forward. But for now, I'm not turning it over. I'll no-dig garden. A no-dig garden. We're going to layer it. We've got our cocoa pith underneath. We're going to add some compost, black grit superfood, and our planting mix on top, and obviously our mulch. Well, rather than me challenging myself to try and hydrate this entire area down deep below after I've added the compost and the planting mix, my bright mind said, you know what? Add some water now. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to quickly have a look and see if it's soaking through. See this puddle here? I'm just going to make a big puddle here on purpose, and let's see how fast it disappears. It's going, it's going, it's going. You can see it going. Getting there. We'll go one more, and then we'll dig it up. Okay, just let that run over here for now. That's not going to hurt anybody. Look at that, eh? Isn't that bloody amazing, huh? Simply bloody amazing. You know what I think it is? Because the cocoa pith has dried out so much, it's got the capacity of holding, I think it's about 70 times its own weight in water. So by the time I hydrate the surface and get it to its full capacity of water storage, there's nothing left for the soil underneath or the cocoa further down below, and the pine shavings from the chook house, which have also decomposed. So it's a lot of water that it needs, but hopefully once I hydrate it and then I put the compost on top and the planting mix, it shouldn't dry out underneath. Not that quick, because we've also got the plastic liner underneath. So this bed here is like a semi-wicking bed, not an entire full setup, enough to hold a bit of moisture, if you get the moisture in there. All right, let's check it now. You know what? I'm going to give up on this one. It's getting there. Now, we've done this in real time, folks. We've added this amount of, I reckon at least 50, 60 litres so far in here, right? So a bag of cocoa pith will hold that much on its own. And in here, I think we've got probably about 5-6 bags worth. So you're talking about 200 litres of, wow. If I do the sums like that, it's mind-boggling. Now keep in mind, I don't want you guys to be deterred of what you're seeing here. This is a trial that I've done in the past, and I did mention it. If we can go back to that video in particular, I had the chicken manure here with the sawdust, and then all I added was cocoa pith as the extra medium to grow in. Nothing more. I didn't put any straw in it, I didn't put any compost, I didn't place any planting mix at all. So we trialled our tomato and they grew tremendously well in the cocoa pith, obviously with the nutrients, the superfood and all that. But because I haven't watered here for over a month, and we had a little bit of rain here and there, but nothing to be proud about, this is dehydrated. Rightly so, it's dehydrated because it's raised. All right, so I don't think I've got it completely soaked, but geez, it must be close to at least 60, 70, 80 litres now. At least. All right, we'll dig it one more time. Just keep it running in this corner. Let's go over here now. Wow. Wow, it's thirsty in the middle. Let's try over here. It's thirsty over here too. It's starting to get there. Yeah, I've disturbed a lot here, folks, but see how, you know, loosening it up. A no dig garden. Well, you can't ignore what's going on here and say don't dig, because if you don't dig, you'll never learn. You'll never see what's going on underneath. I dug this area here, and look at that. Oh, folks, I decided to dig this over and get some water down deep below because there's no life without water. So I'm going to reactivate this and start again with this garden bed. Look at that, look at that. Look how dry that is. So we're going to break the crust and get the water to soak in. That's better. Well, we loosened it up, and I didn't have to do it. You know, because once you add the compost on top, which is a lot denser as well, it'll hold its water. And at the end of the day, that water's gone somewhere, it hasn't disappeared. It's been soaked up by a lot of the fibres in the cocoa. So we're going to just top dress it with a couple of bags only. They're too high to worry about today. There's nothing in here for them to eat anyway. You know what's missing in here? Worms. I've got to add some worms in this. I'm going to get some from my mate from the Ballerine worm farm and put a couple of handfuls of worms in here too. Get it to activate, because the planting mix has got worm compost in here. No worms in the planting mix, so we'll add some worms in here. Because I don't think there are any. Well, I haven't seen any. It's been so dry. So with the planting mix and all the stuff we're putting on top, that should make a big difference. Funny enough, we still had a really good crop. Hey, I'm not going to forget this time. Superfood everywhere. It's only a couple of handfuls per square metre, but this is slightly larger than a square metre. There we are. And some black grit as well. And some black grit. I'm going to plant bok choy or pak choy. Which one is it here? Pak choy. I'll see how many I can get in here, and I've got some leftover rocket as well that I can add in here as well. I'm going to put a light layer of the mulch as well. There we are. The mulch is down. Now let's spread our pak choy. Where is it? Here we are. 9. All nice and planted. Now we give them a good soak before we give them a liquid feed, folks, with our liquid gold. And that's what you got to do too. So this is another one down. So stay tuned as we count down to rebuilding all our wonderful veggie garden beds. I think we've got about 9 more to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9. That doesn't matter. We're going to fill them all up and we're going to have our own produce. So it's important to grow your own. Don't rely on the supermarkets. You don't know what goes into them. Here, we know what goes into here. Tender loving care and lots of organic stuff. Check out our website, vasilisgarden.com, or go to your local garden centre and support the independents to get all the good stuff that you need, especially Vasilis Garden Range. Our superfood and blackroot, folks, well, you can't get anything better than that. And it's available on our website, vasilisgarden.com. From me, Vasili, la Vesi.